Welcome to this episode of the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, the newly named head coach of swimming and diving at the University of Arizona in Tucson. We've got Ben Loorz. Ben, thanks for joining. How's it going, man?
Yeah, good, Coleman. Thanks for the invitation, man. I appreciate it.
This episode of the SwimSwam podcast is sponsored by Commit Swimming, SwimSwam's exclusive team management software partner. Since 2015, Commit has been providing coaches with swimming's leading workout management software. And now, Commit has team management software too. Commit wants to help you make the switch from Team UofA to a simpler, more powerful solution. Their onboarding and customer service team will walk you through every step of the way. Check them out at commitswimming.com to book your demo today. That's COMMIT swimming.com. I want to start with this. I just talked to Matt Leach, who's the new coach now at Iowa State, and also now part of your conference of the Big 12.
Big 12 rival now. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is
Matt
funny.
Was actually, funny story. Sorry to interrupt you. Matt was texting me at 5:45 this morning, they're texting back. And obviously, for him, that's a little bit later on Central Time. But yeah, I was like, only swim coaches are, the ones you can text back and forth with at 5:30. And they're like, oh yeah, this is normal.
Absolutely. I'm on the same. I'm on Central right now, and obviously you're on Pacific time. But this is happening for you at 7:20 a.m. and it's like, oh, I'm sure you've already been up for a couple hours.
Yeah.
But I think we often forget that as swim coaches, you're not only a swim coach. You have a family, you have a life outside of your job and outside of swimming. But so with that in mind, just what made the University of Arizona the right decision for you right now after 8 seasons at UNLV? All around as a father, as a husband, and as a swim coach.
Yeah, for sure. It's a question that still has some answers to be filled in, to be totally honest. You don't know when you move your children, is this going to be better? You move with the faith that it can be better. And if you do it the right way as a family, that it will not only put some lessons of adaptability and courage into your kids, but also maybe provide them some opportunities they wouldn't have had at the previous place. But you don't know. And so you have to move forward with faith in that space. My wife's one of the best teachers in the state of Nevada, won a lot of awards. She's got her own career. Teaching is one of those things that, unlike head swim coaching at the Division I level, you can move that around a little bit more readily. But still, that's a decision for her as well. And that's a piece of it. And same thing, you don't know. But there's some really good schools here in Tucson, both just for my own kids, all the way to K-12, but also the university. And the University of Arizona system in general, is a really good system. UofA, ASU, NAU, really well-known universities, and that's attractive. So, just family-wise, there's some things that look good. Obviously, Tucson's still in the desert, so I'm still in the desert. But so far it seems better here. It cools off a little bit better at night here, better than Vegas. Vegas has got that urban heat island thing going on, whereas Tucson's a little bit more spread, which is nice. So, and then, professionally, when I was first approached about the job, the question is, hey, are you interested in the University of Arizona? And it's sort of a no-brainer. The brand of this program throughout the decades is just phenomenal. I was able to do a reception yesterday with some of the alumni, the master swimmers, just kind of the local Tucson swimming community. And you're doing that in the Hall of Fame, and you're just like, whoa, it's impressive. Growing up, some of my own heroes as swimmers and coaches are the people who are sitting in that room yesterday, or their names are on the wall there in my office. It's like, wow, this is such an honor.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start, because U of A, especially in swimming, is, as you said, such a brand and such a well-known brand, and what do you have initial plans, not for the team yet, but just for I guess maybe trying to put your own stamp on that brand, especially as you said, with the alumni base and the wide web of connections to the University of Arizona swimming.
Sure. I mean, there can be no ambiguity about the fact that, our aim is to take the University of Arizona back to the levels it enjoyed in the 2000s in particular. It seemed to be the heyday. That's got to start with the platform of Olympic level swimming. And then, you've got to obviously make some noise in the Big 12. Our ambition is to beat our friends from up north and also be a Big 12 conference champion. If we're competing at that level with that level of depth from Olympics podiums to get in the depths to win Big 12, the good stuff's going to flow in the NC2A as well. So it's definitely a challenge. This team is not there right now, but it's also not a broken team. I think that sometimes people only see snapshots, just media, and as I've gotten in here and gotten to know the people, the support staff for the athletes themselves, there's a lot of really talented and passionate people here, and so we're just excited to get to work.
Yeah. So how do you start this? Because I can't imagine coming in as a head coach and having a total rebuild or clean slate like the situation you're currently in, and you're in, I don't know, day 5 or something. I think this is the first week. So how do you go about the next, I guess, just few months? And I know that's kind of a wide range, but what's first in what you're establishing?
Yeah. So first has got to be connecting with every student athlete. So that's taken up a lot of my last 5 days, not only the returning athletes, but the ones who are incoming. So the incoming class. And then, of course, the ones who maybe were like, I'm not so sure UofA is for me anymore. And I'm like, hey, things are going to be a little bit different, let's chat. So, connecting with all the student athletes is a big thing. That's something that is really important to our athletic administration. And that's just important to me, values-wise. That's the way I coach. So that's number one. Number two, of course, is putting the proper staff in place. And that's a tricky one in terms of speed because you want to move fast. June 15th is coming. Olympic trials are coming. But also, you don't want to move so fast that you're missing things. Like putting the right people on the pool deck is really a critical piece of this whole thing. So, and there are good people here on the pool deck right now. So that's important. Number two, and it's got to move confidently, but also we got to take the time to do it right. Number three, of course, is just to begin the recruiting process. We got class of 2025 still to build out. Class of 2026 is coming up soon, and so just being able to get into that space with a full staff and really begin to push brand out there. And that's number four, is to really just work on like, hey, who are we? What are we about? And why is the University of Arizona an exciting place to come swim? I think once you get here to Tucson and you see what the university and the pool facility and all that can offer, it's definitely, it begins to sell itself really quickly. You've been here. Have you been here?
I have.
Yeah. I mean, Hill and Brand is amazing. It's like you walk on the pool deck, you look around, you're like, dang. So it's really exciting to be able to recruit people to this space. But part of that is going to be just making sure that we're communicating well with student athletes and with coaches and letting them know that like, hey, things are turning around in Arizona here.
Yeah. I feel like all you need is an outdoor pool and and places sell themselves. And obviously that's just me, but swimming outside, I think makes a huge difference. And I imagine, especially to 16, 17, 18-year-olds, that is one thing to offer, as well as, and I know that's probably not even part of your selling point. That's just what I look for in a pool.
Yeah. No doubt. And part of that too is, I mean, I really love the Bill Belichick quote that, we're not assembling talent here. We're building a team. And so you're right. You can get into a space where it's like, hey, look at this beautiful place. Come on. And all of a sudden you got, dozens of people, but like who are the right ones, and that's something that's really critical. Hopefully I've shown in my time at UNLV that, we try to recruit for character. We try to recruit people of a certain nature who want to do this at a high level and who want to do this for the right reasons and who want to do this alongside others. I think those are all really three important things. And, that's who we're looking for.
Yeah. Speaking of your time at UNLV, I am curious, what do you feel like you are going to carry over specifically from your 8 seasons in Las Vegas to this head coaching role that's probably, kind of a step up in terms of the prominence of the program and perhaps maybe the level of talent you can get in the door, but still looking for probably the same kind of character.
Right. Yeah. We'll see in that space, obviously. Yeah. But, I think that I carry more confidence than I had 8 years ago. As you know, Coleman, you've watched some of our progress, I think when we came in, we scored out the women's team at UNLV, okay, returning class, like who have we got? We had 142 points. Like that was what we inherited, my first year at UNLV. We've done a really good job of building that, we had, 2022, we had relays top 25 in the country. And, on the men's side, obviously our sprint relays, Coach Pat, our sprint coach there, just, really done some incredible work with people who were definitely diamonds in the rough, our work with Kasha, just the confidence that we could work with an athlete who was already very good and help her climb those world rankings and really, crack podiums at the world championships level. That obviously makes me more confident too. It's like, okay, we can live and breathe and succeed in this space.
Yeah. And speaking of that, of the high performance space, how, from a nuts and bolts perspective in the pool, what will these first few months look like for you in terms of training philosophy or just kind of what do you want to start assembling in terms of how you're actually going to start preparing athletes for competition?
Yeah. So in terms of the next few months, it's a little bit tricky because it's important to me to let the athletes who are 3.5, 4 weeks out from Olympic trials, finish that cycle. I'm not going to be presumptuous and come in and be like, okay, listen to me now. You know what I mean? They're on a track, they're on a path, their plan is laid. And I'm going to be there to support that for sure. So I'll be at Olympic trials wearing this jersey, but I'm also not going to discount the work that they've done with the coaches that have gotten them there. I think that's really important to honor that. As we move into to next season, there's no doubt that we're going to have to move a little slower in August and September than I normally would because this whole team's got to learn my system. We had gotten to a place at UNLV where I was blessed enough to have a staff that was stable and they knew my system. They knew my drills. They knew what I meant when I said X or Y or Z. And most of the athletes, the returners, knew it as well. And so, you could bring in a freshman class and they could learn a lot by osmosis or by, hitting up the person in the lane next to him. They're like, wait, what did he say? Wait, what does that mean? Because we are very, my sets, and you know this, Coleman, the way that I write is not meat and potatoes. There's a lot of moving pieces in the way that I write sets and training. We are a speed changing team. We're an agility based team, and we're going to be a coaching staff that teaches. I mean, those are the three main training philosophies. And of course, like any Division I program worth their salt, we're going to take care of the 50 guy. We're going to take care of the miler. I mean, we're going to take care of the whole spectrum. But those three things don't change no matter what. And so there is a lot, I think, to learn about training for this kind of coaching style. Definitely, one of the things that I see the most is okay, I'm like this set, boom, boom, boom. And then this round, you're going to do this. And then that round, you're going to do that. And you change this. And then, and it's you can finish 90 seconds of that. And the people who are uninitiated are like, wait, what? Sorry, start over, And so, and that'll take some time to get this team used to my style in that regard and to get the staff used to that as well.
Yeah. Which, is one thing I really did enjoy about when I got to come film a workout at UNLV and something that it was very dynamic. There was just a lot of moving parts. And it was very cool to witness, all this movement happening at the same time, right? And so, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And obviously, you had success at it in UNLV, and yeah, no reason not to carry it over here. One more note about UNLV is that the current director of athletics at Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois, was also your athletic director at UNLV. So that relationship is established. I'm wondering how that makes a difference coming into this new position for you. Already having a rapport with your boss.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. It gives me a lot of anything we do in this swim coaching world is trust based, athlete to coach and coach to athlete. And I think the same is true with your administrators. And so there's no doubt that played a role. And coming in, having already earned her trust and also knowing the way she does business, I think gives her peace of mind. That she's not going to have to be looking over her shoulder with a brand new head coach every 5 seconds. And it gives me confidence because I know what her expectations are. She's a very high expectation person, and I like that. I think that makes everybody around better. And so, yeah, it definitely plays a piece, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. We spoke about this a little bit off camera, but you've got a couple big weeks ahead of you. What do the next just couple weeks for you? Micro scaling it down. We talked about the next few months. What do the next couple of weeks look like for you as someone who is managing, a full family as well as establishing a brand new, Division I Power 5 program?
Right. Back and forth a little bit between Tucson and Las Vegas. My oldest graduates high school next week, so we got family coming into town for that. I'm in Tucson right now and doing a bunch of meetings yesterday, today, which has been great. Just getting to know the support staff for the student athletes, meeting with all the coaches. So, and that's going to continue for the next couple of weeks before I move down and get some temporary housing, and I'm on the ground full time in Tucson. And then we'll get the family down here. Well, we're still figuring that out, but a little bit later. So,
gotcha. We talked about alumni at the top, but I want to circle back to that just a little bit. Did you have experience, or did you develop a system for connecting with alumni or supporters at UNLV? And is that something you're going to carry on here, or is that something that you feel like it is more going to have to be developed for the alumni and support that University of Arizona has?
Oh man, yes, and yes. Like it's hugely important to me. I was so blessed at UNLV to be one of only 2 head coaches really in the last 40 years, and because of that, because I was an assistant there, the alumni were just hugely supportive. And we did have a system. We Coach Pat and I, associate interim head coach now, did a really fun thing every other year. We had a big blowout alumni weekend. We do like live dessert auctions, like the student athletes would make desserts, and we'd like live auction those off. And we had like lemon bars going for $800 and stuff for the team. And I this year we had like 10 women who I recruited in 2008 when I was an assistant at UNLV. They were like the graduating class of 2014, I guess. And so this was or 2013 maybe. So this was their 1 decade of, so they all came back from all around the world, came to alumni. It was cool. When we got to UNLV Giving Day in the spring, we just set the standard for the whole university. We raised $50,000 this year in 1 day with over 200 individual donors. And that's for brand new Omega blocks at UNLV. So yes, it is part of what I'm about. That 1 day, not because of the money, but just because of the engagement. Like it turned into one of my favorite days of the whole year, because you just like the current student athletes just felt the connection. We read a book this spring, Legacy. It's about the New Zealand All Blacks, the rugby team, and they've got this Maori concept called waka papa that basically means the interconnectedness between the generations. The All Blacks have this mantra that like when your time is done, you leave the jersey in a better place. And that's always been really central to me. And when we have these like alumni, like giving days, and you just get to connect with like, you know, parents, and like you got current student athletes who are donating $10, and you've got parents of somebody who swam here in the 80s and they're donating $50. And, you know, I mean, it's just like, you feel that unbroken connectedness between the generations. It's just a super special thing, you know. It's not really about the fundraising at all. It's about creating that moment as a swimming and diving family for that program. Obviously, Arizona has got that in spades. You know, like the history of this program, the legacy of it is huge, and to be a part of it is such an honor. You know, I'm going to work super hard at this job to earn the right to wear this. You know, that's part of what I feel coming into this chain of, you know, of unbroken alumni and people, and that chain goes on in the future. You know, like the people who are going to be recruited to this team in 2055, they're a part of this as well already. They don't know it yet, but they are, you know, and that's really special to me. And yeah, we're going to do everything we can to make the alumni proud.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.